God, I love that. So we're in February, and the February theme is Reveal Our Common Good. And I love that, Reveal Our Common Good. So we kicked off the month last week with Love Finds a Way, and today, our anniversary day, we're talking about good for all. Good for all, because that's really what it's about, isn't it? God is good all the time. God is the good that there is just no opposite to. It's just God is good. That's it. And I wanted to start with this morning's, the meditation quote from Ernest Holmes was wonderful. Here and now we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. And how much of this infinite good is ours? All of it, he says, all of it. And how much of it may we have to use? As much of it as we can embody. That's incredible, right? As much of it as we can embody. So sometimes I think of us as fish. I think of us as fish. You know how fish swim through the water, right? They live, they move, they have their being in water. Their food comes to them through water. They are mates. They how they give birth. They live their entire lives in water. They're surrounded by it. They're immersed in it. They breathe it in. It goes through them. That's the way we are with spirit. It's all around us. It's all around us. It's pressing in on us. It is the very life force that we are surrounded by and immersed in. And if we think about it, it's just pure energy, right? Because that's really all that everything is. Everything is energy. Matter, right, is just energy in form. The spaces between matter is just energy. It's all energy. Everything is composed of energy. And so is our bodies, right? Down to the subatomic particles of us. We're just energy. There is a quote by what's her name? Kate Montana. And she said this. She said, the bottom line, matter and energy, information and consciousness are just different ways of looking at the same thing. And if we include the experience of the mystics who have directly grasped and taught that everything is energy, and about the unified field of consciousness of creation for the millennia, then we add the word self into that interchangeable mix as well. So we have energy, matter, information, consciousness, spirit, self. This is different words for the same thing. The self-existent cause, which is really what the universe is. I mean, think about it. It's been almost 100 years now that exploration into the quantum field, right, really started in earnest. Max Planck and Werner Heisenberg and I can never remember the other guys. Oh, Niels Bohr, right, who started really delving into the whole entire idea of the quantum field. And what they found was that there is nothing but energy. That everything exists as energy, and even more than that, everything exists as potential, right? You've heard everything is really just pure potential. And even going beyond that, what they discovered is that everything is just information. It is just information, waiting for consciousness to collapse that infinite potential into an event. And so that information is always in contact with everything else. So we're part of this. This is a holistic universe. And when we talk about that, we talk about each and every part contains within it information of the whole. And so that's what we are, right down to the little subatomic particles of our bodies. That's what we are. We're information potential. So this is an intelligent universe. It is a reflective universe. And it surrounds us, and it is us. It's our very body. And it responds to us because we are some part of it. We are some part of that infinite space. And the energy which drives it is potential. The information that it takes in and responds to is potential. We are always, and we're resonating in it. We're steeped in it, and it is within us. And we call it God, right? As a faith tradition, we call that energy God. Physicists call it energy or information or consciousness or the quantum field. But we're talking about the same stuff. Ernest Holmes said, we must instill into the mind the fundamental proposition that good is without bounds. Only good and loving kindness shall follow me all the days of my life, right? Psalms 23. We must get this concept rather than continuing to think that there is a power for evil as opposed to the power for good. We experience good and evil because we perceive the presence of duality rather than unity. And that's really the only difference. We perceive the presence of this duality rather than understand the unity of this universe. So when we have practitioner classes, and you practitioners know this one, right? We talk about affirmative prayer. And one of the things we talk about affirmative prayer is that when people come for prayer, the prayer is always, the challenge is always the illusion of separation. Right? Yes? Okay. Practitioners, students, you know this one, right? It's whatever the topic is, whatever someone comes to you for prayer for, right? And there's only 4 things you can come to prayer for, right? It's always health, career, money, or love. That's it. In whatever form that shows up. Right? There's 4 topics. But in each one of those, the challenge is there's a feeling of separation from our good. We're separate from our good somehow in that particular topic. And the prayer is always one of unity. And that's just the way it is. It's always the illusion of separation that we suffer from. And the prayer is always about unity. And as long as we continue to see duality, we're going to continue to manifest instances and experiences of duality. You get that? Because of the energy field. Because of the energy field, it can only reflect back to us what we are resonating as. And as long as we continue to see duality, I really want to get a different job. I really want to change my job, but, and everything after the but is BS. Belief system. I thought I was going to go there, but I didn't. It's belief system. Everything after the but is the reason why you can't have what you want. Everything after the but is the reason, the rationality that you're using so that you can stay separate from your good. So the prayer is always one of unity. The prayer is always one of, you're already immersed in it. You're already immersed in it. All you need to do is start resonating at that level. Start resonating at that vibration, and it winds up manifesting in your experience. That energy is all around us. It is pressing itself against us. It is spiritual energy. It is the energy of creation, and it's all good. There is no opposite. And all the qualities of good are in this infinite field of potential that we're plopped into, that we're immersed in, that is in every cell of our body. There's no separation. That energy is us, and that energy extends from us to the limitless universe. So we resonate with the conditions, right? I mean, those conditions we wind up experiencing are the ones that we most resonate with, that we're most thinking of, that we're mulling over, that we're steeped in with feeling. Whether those feelings are positive or negative, right? Whether those feelings are love or fear. So we're going to continue to outpicture those conditions. And since there's only good, we can only either attract more good into our experience or we can repel it, right? Because what we said was what? At the level of spirit, there is only good. God is the good to which there is no opposite. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, we are thinking, choosing centers of awareness in this mind. And that's that universal field, right? That's the potential, the information. We are thinking, choosing centers of awareness in this mind, and according to the sum total of all our thoughts, we are either silently attracting good to us or repelling it from us. That's all we can do. It's a continuum, remember? God is good all the time. And we can experience the least amount of good possible or the most amount we can possibly embody, like that beginning quote. But it's all good. Now, we call the least amount, we call it bad. We call it something different, as if there was bad and good. but it's just good on a continuum. It is just good on a continuum. And so you can understand that God is good all the time. And we have as much or as little of it as we can believe and accept and embody. We are always attracting it or repelling it. And when we're repelling it, something else is filling in that space, right? Something else is filling in some other experience or condition that, maybe you don't want as much. Does that make sense? And it doesn't mean that there's no good for us, and it doesn't mean that we're being punished, right? That whole God, that Old Testament kind of God, It's not about we're being punished for something, that's why we don't have our good, or we haven't done something good enough, and that's why we don't have our good, or we haven't said enough prayers, or we haven't done enough whatever, workshops or self-help books or something that we don't have our good. It's just standing in the shadow and wondering where the sun is. It's there all the time. It is there all the time, and we need to turn around and stand in the sunshine. There is no shortage of good. There is only good. We don't have to earn it. We don't have to buy it. We don't deserve it. Or not deserve it. It's not something we do. It is something that is forever available. And we must resonate with the energy of it. Resonate with that energy of it. And it makes itself known in the conditions around us. It is a reflective universe. Life doesn't happen to us, life responds to us. So if our results are hit and miss, anybody? Am I the only one that has that experience? Oh my God. It's like sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. No. But if my results are hit and miss, that's because my affirmative prayers are hit and miss. That's because my consciousness is hit or miss. That's because my predominant energy that I'm surrounding myself with is hit and miss, right? If we think this teaching works sometimes, but not all the time, and that's our experience, well, that means it's working perfectly, doesn't it? Right? That means the law is outpicturing perfectly, because our predominant belief is, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This is too hard. This one's easy. Spirit's got this one, but not that one. And if that's what our predominant thought is, and that's the experience we're getting, then that means the law is working perfectly all the time, isn't it? All the time. It is done unto us as we believe, right? I always go back to, well, it depends on what your definition of as is. Anyway. Ernest Holmes said this about that. He said, the barriers between you and your greater good are not barriers themselves. They are things of thought. And it is because of this that all things are possible in faith. Jesus summed up the whole proposition when he said, it is done unto us as we believe. In interpreting this saying, however, you must pause after the word as. Think about its meaning, and you will discover that he was saying that life not only responds to your belief, it responds after the manner of your believing, as you believe. It is like a mirror reflecting the image of your belief. And so that's what we need to understand, that in this energetic field, this field of just simply just potential, just information, we need to resonate at the level of the conditions we desire. It's what we focus on. It is what we focus on. Did you ever buy like a yellow car and then all of a sudden you see them all over town? Right? It's like, well, no matter what color car you buy, right? You don't see any of them, then you buy one, and then that's all you see all over the place is that. It's because that's what you're focused on. There's no more yellow cars than there were the day before. It's just all of a sudden, you're right, you're focused on it now. You can see it. You can see it where you couldn't see it before. You didn't see it before because you didn't pay attention to it before. Same thing. Same thing. It has everything to do with what we're focused on and almost nothing to do with reality, because reality is being made up anyway, right? Information, the energy of information. So we can focus on the negative. There's plenty of that, isn't there? Or we can focus on the positive. And there is plenty of that, isn't there? It depends on where we place our focus. Did you see that? There was just a news article the other day. Dan LaGuardia, did you see that? He was at a car dealership in El Cajon, and he was trading in his Scion, and he was getting a new, I don't know what, something. And the lady that was next to him was trying to arrange for a car, and she couldn't get one. She's working 2 jobs. She's a nursing student. She didn't have the down payment or whatever. And so she kind of left the dealership in tears. They couldn't help her. They couldn't arrange to get her car. He told the dealership to call her back. He called her back, and he took his trade-in out of the deal, and he gave it to her. Right? That's amazing. That is amazing. Her name was Kayla Cooper. He just handed her over the key. He signed the pink slip over to her. It's like, you know, there's good around us all the time. There is good around us all the time. We just need to focus on it rather than focusing on the negative. Ernest Holmes said, there's no reason we should ever stop accepting more and more good. Our thought should enlarge so that it cannot help gathering more and more, even though, on the other hand, we are ever distributing what we gather. Indeed, the only reason for having is so we may give to others. Isn't that lovely? And that's exactly what he did. Out of his bounty, just handed over the car. That's why we have. So we keep ourselves in the circulation of all good. Oh, and there are plenty of news websites that you can go on. There is, there's MSN Good News. There is the Good News Network. There's a bunch of them. Today, Good News, Sunny Skies with a Z. And they're all websites and newspapers that just tell you what's the good news is, right? Because don't we get a plethora of the bad news, you know? and it's up to us to focus on what we want and not what we don't want. Yeah. Focus on what we want and not what we don't want, you know? That whole idea, the whole fall from grace, right? The apple and the getting kicked out of the garden and all that stuff is the illusion of separation. That's the story. That's the ancient story. The illusion of separation, that we're somehow separate. We have fallen out of, the garden. That we fell from grace, got kicked out of the garden. But the truth is we never left. The truth is we never left. And we allow our senses to lie to us. And we allow the condition to inform us on how to feel instead of the other way around. We need to stand in the truth of our feelings and our beliefs and let that alter the conditions. A lot of the times we just have the conditions, right? You know what it is. Like you start off with a good day. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to be in a good mood. And then something happens and bam, right? You're not in a good mood anymore. Now life sucks and I just can't wait to get out of here. Yeah, right? Because what happens is you allow the condition outside of you to inform your feelings instead of the other way around. When you stand in the truth, I'm spirit, I am pure spirit, then your truth changes the conditions around you instead of the other way. But how, you ask? How do we do this? Right? Because it's easy to say, but how do we do this? Well, Ernest Holmes gave one short little clue on how to do this in the textbook. He said, one of the first things to do is to love everybody. If you have not done this, begin to do so at once. I love it. Like, yes, right? Begin to do so at once. That's real clear. We cannot hold something against somebody else and expect to manifest our good. We can't deny good for other people and expect to manifest it in our own life. Good for all means good for all, right? Okay, so what practical kinds of things can we do to rewire our brains? Because, honestly, we are kind of hardwired to be alert for the danger, right? And that goes back to ancient man when we were sitting around the fire. And there was nothing outside of that ring of fire but darkness. And you can hear a twig snap and you're on guard because it could be a tiger coming to, eat the tribe or whatever. We are hardwired to be alert for danger. So that's the bad news. The good news is we can rewire that so that we can be alert for the good. So instead of our first reaction being, oh God, now, what now? Our first reaction is, wow, how much better can this get, right? Oh my God, how much better can this get? God is good all the time, and we need to train ourselves to see it. So here are some practical things to rewire our brains. In addition to loving everyone immediately, right? Turn around, say, I love you, I love you, I love you. Go ahead, just say it, I love you, I love you. You don't have to know them to love them, right? I love you. So here's some other things to do. Slow down, right? Slow down. First thing you need to do, slow down. Be present. Be mindful of exactly what you're doing while you're doing it. We're in such a hurry all the time. We're thinking 3 steps ahead of what it is we're doing. We're not present in our bodies, and we're not present with the task at hand, right? That's where accidents happen. You notice when you trip and fall, it's like always because you're on a mission to do the next thing, and you're not in your body, and you're not present. So be present. It's beautiful right here, right now. Isn't it? The sun is shining. There's enough air in the room. All your beautiful faces are here, right now, this moment. New church members, this moment is perfect. Yeah, this moment is perfect. Be in whatever moment you're in. Be now, right now. And when you bring yourself fully present, it is really, life is good. Life is good. Number 2, focus on what you can change, whatever that is, Most of the news we get from the world is awful and negative, and it's not real, but most of the news we get from the world is beyond our control. I don't have any input in Washington, D.C., or the war, or, things. So what I do is I can control my reaction to things. I can control my response to things. I can think globally, but act locally. I can do the things I can do on a local level. So it's about putting our energy where we can make a difference. Because what happens is when we start thinking all big and out there, and we feel powerless. We begin to feel powerless. So pull the energy back and make changes where you can make changes. Number 3, add positivity to people's lives. And that's so easy. Just helping somebody out, helping somebody in with their groceries, just smiling sometimes at someone makes all the difference in the world. Volunteering, volunteer at Vision. Yay, new members, volunteer at Vision. I'm always recruiting. Be there, listen, active listening to someone when they want something, when they want to share something, some words with you. To be active listening and have nothing else to do. That adds positivity to people's lives. Right? Start the day with gratitude. That's number 4. Start the day with gratitude, right? Told you about from your toes all the way up. Be grateful for all your body parts. If you do that, it's a wonderful little routine. Before you even get out of bed in the morning, feel, bless your toes. Your toes are really important. If it weren't for your toes, you'd be falling on your face all the time. They keep us balanced. So be grateful for your toes and just start all the way up, things that you don't even think about. I am so grateful that my pancreas works and I don't even have to think about it. Things like that. Just be grateful. Just be grateful for everything, your body, your home, your bed, the roof, the hot water in the shower, anything, just all of it. All of it is a blessing. All of it is good in our lives. The condition of good outpicturing and manifesting in our lives. Do your affirmations. Great time to do your affirmations first thing in the morning. Positive, passionate, present tense, purposeful. Do your affirmations and place that expectation into the law of how you want your day to unfold, right? Number 5, be a member of a spiritual community that's uplifting, like Vision, yay. See, this is another ad. But people live longer who are involved in spiritual community. You know that? They've absolutely proven that. People live longer who are involved in spiritual community. So be part of a community that uplifts you. Hang out with like-minded souls. Hang out with positive people. Read uplifting literature. Go see inspiring movies. Do things that fill your soul. And number 6, limit the negatives in your life. Limit the negatives, whether it's negative language. You know that language that goes through your head all the time, it's like, why does this always happen to me? Eliminate that. Eliminate the negative language, eliminate the negative people, eliminate the duality. I really want to do this, but, eliminate that half of the sentence. Just end it right there. I really want to do this. Eliminate the negative news. Now, I'm not telling you to stick your head in the ground, because we can be informed, but we don't have to be inundated, right? There's a 24-hour news cycle. You don't have to participate in that. You just don't. Robert Orban said this. He said, the news is a program that begins with the words, good evening, and then tells you why it is not. And sometimes we cannot avoid the negative. Sometimes things happen in our lives. We're religious science, right? We're in the science of mind and spirit. That does not mean that nothing negative will ever happen to us again. We'll still get a flat tire, right? You still get a flat tire, but usually it's in your driveway. Yay. Or, but negative things will happen. You get in a hurry, maybe you get, you fall and you get injured. The unexpected things do happen to us. But instead of saying, why me, the better question is, what does this make possible? What an interesting question to ask when faced with a setback or an unexpected or an injury. What does this make possible in my life? Now, number 7, remember to use your paper plate. I don't have it here. We made them a couple of years ago. Remember the big paper plate on the popsicle stick? Okay. On the paper plate, on the outside, facing everybody, are the words, tell me more. So when someone comes to you with a complaint or a criticism or an ain't it awful, you have your paper plate and you hold it up. And on the outside facing them, it says, tell me more. But on the inside of the paper plate facing you, it says, this has nothing to do with me. Remember to use your paper plate when people come to you with complaints, because it's their stuff usually. It's not your stuff. Hold up your paper plate. Wherever you go, make one. Hang it on the wall. Someone comes to you, just take it off and hold it up. Like the crucifix, hold it up. Remember to use your paper plate. Lean in, tell me more. This has nothing to do with me. This has nothing to do with me. Number 8, hugs help. We have huggers? Do we have huggers here? Are we huggers? Oh, thank God. I love developing a community of huggers. It's just lovely. Hugs help. Hugs improve our immune system, everything. Hugs help. Meditate, pray, listen to music. Listen to music. Music absolutely helps. It absolutely breaks open our hearts. Like Andy Anderson. Dance. Move your body around. Dance. Eat good food. Do those things that absolutely make your body happy. Number 9, unplug. We have those phones that are just strapped to us, right? Unplug. Step away from the iPad. Hang up the cell phones. Put the top down on the laptop. Shut off the computer. Shut off the television. Go for a walk. Get out in nature. Sit at the beach. Spend time in the woods. Go where the animals are. Go where the animals are and feel that. Put your feet on the earth. Yeah, more actual reality, less virtual reality. Go put yourself in nature. And the last one, find things to laugh about. God is good all the time. You remember Norman Cousins? Does anybody remember Norman Cousins? Okay, The Anatomy of an Illness, right? He wrote a whole book about the healing power of humor. Laughter lowers your blood pressure. It reduces the stress hormones. It improves cardiac health. It boosts your T cells. It triggers the release of endorphins, which we love, right? We love our endorphins. It makes us feel better. So there is good all around us. There is just good all around us. And we ought to have it, right? That's what Emma Curtis Hopkins said. There is good all around us, and we ought to have it. It is up to us to just change that energy that we resonate in so that that information can reflect back to us in the conditions of good. Ernest Holmes said this: if by a broad sweep we could wave some mystical wand around the earth and re-identify all people as sons and daughters of God, so that each, whoever, wherever he is, would say, I am akin to the Prince of Peace. I am the harbinger of love and goodwill. Certainly, this invocation of the divine architect of the universe would call forth a response among all nations that would melt in love every sword, that the plowshare should again turn the earth and bring forth a harvest of love and good for all. Thank you.